Alright, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to show you how to change out your TJ top, because this job is not a horrible job. It's pretty simple. A lot of people overthink it. It's a lot simpler than it seems like. So first, you're going to start off with taking off the Velcros. I taken it off already. It's sitting there. You guys can see these things are in pretty bad condition. But you're going to start by taking the Velcro off and then unzipping it and then sliding it off on this piece along with down here. And then the second part you're going to do is try to get this off. It is going to be a little bit harder with one hand since I am filming. You're going to pull it off like that, so, and then repeat on the other side too. And if you don't know what I mean by Velcro, you just pull this off, pull this, and then pull the top, make sure that is, and then zip right here. This is an older top, so this is going to be a little bit more pain. Unzip. Like this. Open your door. And I might have to put the camera down for a second to see if I can get this. And then from there, just yank, pull, bam, like that. Alright guys, so the next step you guys are going to do is unclamp these little things right here. The best thing to do is probably grab a flathead and pry it up, since it is a little bit of a pain to get to unclamp. Sometimes you're lucky to get it like this and pop it off, but me, I've never had luck. I've always had to grab a flathead and take it off and pry it off like that. So we're going to do that right now. And then you'll repeat for the driver's side. So we got the passenger side off right now. Now sometimes I do like to use a box end, and what you could do is something simply like this. Pry it. It's very simple. You gotta use two hands sometimes, but prying it off is pretty easy. You just put it in between that, pull down like that, and you can just pop it like that. So I do find this sometimes easy just to use, rather a lot more simpler. So let's get that. Okay, so since that's out of the way now, what next thing we're gonna do is gonna pop this Velcro off. It's in the middle bar of the Wrangler, right before the speaker bar and the roll cage bar. You're gonna pull up on it, just kind of like wiggle it. You know, it's gonna take some time to wiggle with, especially this one, especially if your top's factory or has been up here for a while. Yeah, it's gonna take a minute, so just work with it and you'll get it off. And something to do to make sure it doesn't Velcro back over, you're just gonna push it right behind the bar, so you don't have to keep on Velcroing it, just to make sure. And then the step after that, what you're gonna wanna do is take this off, the little buttons that kind of clamp on the back side of it. Very simple, two buttons that hold both sides over. Sorry, I was mistaken. So there's gonna be three tabs, so they kind of hide in between here. I'm not sure if you can see it. Let's see, yeah, right there. So there's gonna be one hiding, so there's gonna be three total. But once it's off, you can kind of see it, like it's gonna do something like that. That's how you know you're gonna be completely off. Now some of them might have a little tab thing that holds it in like this to like make sure, but you know, just pull it off if you do have it. Alright guys, so we're gonna switch to the front. So next thing we're gonna do is we're going to take our visors up, passenger and driver side. We're gonna treat this like we're taking the top off. Just unclamp these simply, both sides, and you should be able to pull this back and just free it like that. So you're gonna want to do this, and we're gonna head on to the next step. So if you're wondering, just push it back like this. It should go something like that. It's gonna try to fight you. So kind of like give it a little push, because you think about it, it's completely off. So there we are. Now we're officially like this. Alright guys, so once you have it back here like this, you're gonna see some type of screws that are going to be holding this in. It's gonna be right there. Well, my Jeep does not have the screws, because the last person that replaced this top back in 2014 did not put the screws back. So we're gonna kind of like tug up on it like this. You want it to look like this, kind of something like this. Let me show you a good example over here, since this side is still up. It is gonna fight, and it might end up even ripping. Like I said, this top has been up here for a while, so you're gonna have to work with it. I may not be able to get it with one hand, so I know that side. There we go. So you're gonna have it like that. It's gonna kind of fight you a little bit. The next step is going to be, you kind of want to flip this whole top on top of the Jeep. So you're gonna want to do something like this. I might have to go put this on the tripod real fast. So it's gonna be something like this. Like I say, you might have to fight it for a minute. You have to pull it up. Get on top of the Jeep if you have to. Pull it up like this. And voila, like that. So if you're doing everything correctly, you should have these type of screws holding in. These are all going to be screws. Now be careful to make sure not to strip these, because you strip these for the future, then you have to take the top back off. It sucks. You guys can see my screws are kind of rusted right up in the middle. We have to check out why that is. But for the moment being, you're going to want to take a Phillips screwdriver or a drill and unscrew these. There's going to be a total of, I believe, 10. If not, it might be a little bit more. I'm not 100% sure. But just take off every screw. Make sure to save these because the new top will not come with it unless you get a new frame with it. So make sure to save these and make sure you don't strip them or don't put them in too hard to crack the top. So you're going to want to get your drill like I said earlier, and you're going to want to unscrew. Like that. So once you got everything off, all the screws, you should just be able to yank, pull, and just like that, the top. Now my tire carrier is getting stuck on it. Like, a lot of vehicles won't have this right here, but this thing is very inconvenient because you got that little thing right there. But that's how you pull the old top off. And now we're gonna go on with the new top. So if you look on the frame itself, it should look just like this, just a bare frame. And you're gonna see these little holes right here, right here, right here. Now you can see on my frame, since the age of it has really started to crack on it, so there's potential that this frame needs to be replaced in the long run, probably within the next 5 to 10 years, just due to the coldness. But yeah, you're gonna look around for these holes and you're gonna try to match up the holes with the new top. I'll show you in a second. So once you kind of got the top on like this, you're gonna want to have the back side of the Jeep facing this on the top, because you're gonna want to kind of throw it up here and match these holes, so on like this. Now you are gonna have to make your own holes. It kind of has but you're gonna have to drill through it. Like I said, you're gonna have to match it with the holes. Make sure you're being careful with this, because you know, if you drill through like the plastic right here, it can crack, and then you know you can have leaks in your top. So make sure you're careful when you do that. So this is going to be the front part, like I said. So make sure you have the front facing the back, but the back facing the front of the top. And it's going to look something like this, and that's what it's going to look like. So we're going to screw these in. I'll show you how to screw them in. Now, a lot of tops will have a center marking. You guys can kind of see right here. You're going to want to match it up with the center one right there. Between these two are going to be the center ones. But a lot of these tops will have center markings, and that's where you're going to start from. You're going to start from the center and work your way from left to right. It don't matter which way you work. You just want to start from the center and work your way either towards the passenger side or the driver's side. It doesn't really matter. You just want to start from the center right there. Okay, so there's something I learned with these aftermarket ones, just for future reference, so you guys are not freaking out. You guys can see right here the holes kind of match up, but then say we go to a hole like this. There's no simple thing like that one is. The best thing I could say to do is A, skip it, or B, drill a hole through it. It's up to you. It depends how you want to feel about it. I'm going to choose to skip these because, you know, you don't want to drill through something like this and then it starts leaking or something. You just never know. So I'm just going to skip it, and we're just going to put it on like this. It should still be tight enough with just the screws we have right there. Like I said, that's one thing you're going to run into when you buy aftermarket stuff. Especially with this one, because this is a Amazon one. This is probably like a $300 top on Amazon. And like I said, I wasn't looking for something that was going to be very expensive, because, you know, it's just a top at the end of the day. This Jeep leaks anyways, so I'm not too worried about it. But like I said, future reference, if you do run into that problem, it's up to you if you want to drill through the hole and just make your own hole, or you just skip it. Another thing to keep in mind, make sure you're tugging and pulling. You do not want no slack between these two, because if you get slack, you're going to have a run into a problem where you cannot get this to fit over here. So make sure you're going to make sure that you're going to pull it tight. This side you can see where it has very slack because I haven't screwed it in. You want it to be straight as possible and flat as possible. You don't want waviness in it, because then you're going to run into problems when you try to screw it on over here towards the end. Alright, once you guys done that, have everything screwed in properly, you're going to want to flip it back over and kind of put this little piece right here back over here. It's going to be kind of hard to explain and do on video. I'm going to try my best to do it and show you guys. So an easier way I figured out how to flip it up, what you're going to want to do is put this halfway up and the top's still going to be laying down right here. You're going to do is flip it up over that, and you're going to want to put it over like this, and you're going to want something like that. Now it needs to be a lot more tighter, and I'm going to find some screws for this thing because I am not going to let that happen. Whoever did this last did not put it in properly, so we're going to fix someone's mistakes. So make sure it's tight. I'll show you guys on that side too. So you're just going to want to kind of slip it on in. This is going to be kind of hard with one hand because I didn't need two hands to get this done, but you're going to want to kind of slip it on in, kind of give it a little tug, give it a little pull. There you go. And of course, and you're going to want to give it a little pull like that, and you're going to want to like make sure it's going to be a little flappy like this, but make sure it's kind of a little up there, you know. You want no wrinkles, no leaks, you want nothing like that. So once it's like that around the ledge, you're going to want to screw your holes in, obviously, you know. Like I said earlier, mines weren't in there, so we're going to fix that up real fast and make sure that's done right. Now that I found my screws, next thing you're going to want to do is going to want to flip it. This is going to be a little bit harder with one hand because the frames keep getting caught up. So you're going to want to do is try to like pull this frame up at the same time. I'll show you guys what I mean. So you're going to want to kind of flip it up like this. You may have to get on top of the Wrangler and give it a little. It's gonna get a little caught. That's the only problem with this. And I also know my frame is kind of a little done. You want to do something. Make sure this stays behind this metal bar though. Like that. And then when you're done, you want it to look something like this. It's gonna look very janky, but this is what the process is going to hold. You want it to look like this. Now it's very important you do not clamp these because you can see we have a lot of overhang right here, and you just don't want that to happen right there. So you're gonna make sure not to clamp these. You're gonna start off by velcroing these. Get it as tight as possible as you can. Make sure there's no sagging, and we'll get back to that in this second. So this is what I mean. You're just gonna want to do it little by little. You're gonna want to tug it pretty tight. Make sure it's all good. Get it tight as possible as you can. Now this process does suck pretty bad because, you know, you gotta get it pretty tight. It may even help. Now you are gonna have to get in a bunch of weird angles, and that's what kind of sucks about this job. You have to use a lot of muscle. It can be very time consuming, just depending how you are. But it's very important you keep this very tight. Like I said, you're gonna get very weird angles. And it may choose to go back and forth, so I wouldn't focus on trying to make it too tight. You just wanna make it tight enough. I might have to go on the other side. You're just gonna want to worry about making it tight as possible. Not as too much tight, but you know, you want it tight just enough. Because you're still gonna have to pull it in. That's what's really gonna make it tight at the end of the day. Alright, so you want to do little by little. So just work your way over. Alright, that's what that. And it's gonna be a little slacky, you know. It's gonna look a little something like that. But then what you're gonna want to do is kind of pull this over. One hand again, very tough. Kind of give it a little tug. You're gonna want to pull something like this over. Give it a nice little tug. So then you're gonna start by clipping these back up again. Like I said, like you took them off, put them back on like you took them off. So there's gonna be little clips on the frame right here. If you can't see, little clamps. This is gonna go around it, something like this. One hand again, it's very tough, and you're just gonna wrap it around it. Now once you get these done right here, these little clamps right here, I will say those things are not the easiest to clamp onto, or the little buttons. Those things are not very easy. You have to work with them, and it's gonna be very tight. So next thing you're gonna want to do is you're going to want to kind of tug this. Now this is gonna be a little bit shorter because you know you gotta kind of yank the top into place, and it's gonna be kind of hard to show this on video. So you're gonna have to wrestle this thing. Like I said, brand new top. It's never really been exposed to the sun, like I said. And another thing I do want to keep in mind, let this sit in the sun for about an hour before you even try to work on it. Just do it while you're taking the top off. Let it sit in the sun for a little bit, because you're going to want to stretch this out and try to get it as stretched as possible. So I'm going to sit here and try to fight with this for a few minutes and see what we get at. So not as bad as I thought. This really took me about a minute and a half just to pull. You're going to want it to look like something like that on the corner. Of course, you got to do that side. This is what it looks like when it's very tight. You're going to want to look like that. This is what it looks like when it's very loose, very ratchety. You can see like how badly it's like peeling. Or I meant not peeling, but like wrinkled. Now this front is getting a lot more tighter. But once you put that back in right there, you can definitely see how crooked the frame is, because one side of the frame is getting forced down than the other. Now there's one trick I could teach you guys real fast. So the best thing to do when it's not right on the corner, because sometimes it will not sit on the ledge like this one, the bar's right here but the corner's right here, you could do is kind of lift the bar up and then pull down on this, and it will force the ledge up there, and then yank as hard as possible, clamp it on these corners, and then that should be done with the whole top at least. And then we'll show you how to put the sides on. All right guys, so once you're done putting that lever, this little piece on right here, make sure it's in very good. You're going to want to test the back. It's okay if there's a little bit of movement. That's common for these tops right here. Same thing right here. Now the next thing you're going to want to do is clamp these, but you're going to have to unclamp it, because the clamps sometimes do get stuck on the side inside of it. So what you got to do sometimes is unclamp this one again and then unclamp it. If that does happen, if it ends up on the side of it. If it didn't, then you don't have to unclamp it. You just clamp it right back up, and then it should be good to go. And we're going to put the sides on. So if you ever have taken off a TJ top, you should know how to put it back on from here. But if not, I'm going to show you the steps how to like put it on. There is one thing you will have to take off: the back window. That's part of the reason why I'm replacing this window, because the back window zipper was pretty messed up and it just needed to go. Along with these had a bunch of cracks in it. But you're going to want to take this one off the factory back window right here. You're going to need this. So make sure you save this. Do not throw this away. You're going to need it for the back. But I'm going to show you the next steps. Now, once you get these side window pieces, they should come with the top. I'm just going to throw mine on the hood. I don't recommend that. I don't really care about the paint up here, because it needs a new paint job. So, you know, if you want to set on the ground, I'm just going to do it right here. So we're going to actually show you the back factory top right here. So this is going to be your back factory top right here. You guys can see we're going to want to go grab this metal. We're going to want to grab this metal piece and slide it on. I'm going to show you guys how to slide it on. So you guys can see right here, we're going to see a little white piece right there in the middle of the screen. You're going to want to slide it on, something like this. It's very simple, self-explanatory. You just pretty much slide it on. You will have to like mess around with it for a few seconds, but it should just slide on with no problem. I'm going to get that done. Alright guys, so I did skip the process of showing you guys how to put it on. I'm going to save it for a later video, because I don't know why, but putting these side-on pieces were a lot harder than putting the actual top on, because you got to get them fitted. You know, they're new, you got to stretch them, and it's just a pain in the neck. Same thing with the back. Now the sun with all this right here will eventually at one point start to stretch it out and flatten it back out. So your top is gonna look like this for a few days. So that's completely normal. But once the sun gets to it, it will start to, you know, flatten it out, make it less wavy. But yeah, guys, that's how it's done. Make sure you subscribe if you guys enjoyed this video, like and share this video. We are going to have a lot more videos like this because I'm planning to turn this channel into something like this, how-to videos. We're gonna have so much stuff to do on this Wrangler. Same thing with trucks. You know, anything you guys can name it, just name it and we'll show you guys. But yeah, with the plans with this thing so far right now, not too much. Like I said, since the engine rebuild, it's been driving pretty good. It's been actually my daily. I've been dailying this thing. I think I've put like 2,000 miles on it since August, or actually September. So yeah, we've been doing a lot of things with this thing. But look at that new top. The new top looks so amazing now.